like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. It's time!
It's Sunday, October 31st, 2021. This is the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Tabor Cragen.
My name is Mason Knight. This is episode 96, UFC 267 recap. After that, we jump to some MMA news, and then we talk about the highly anticipated UFC 268 preview show. But before we do all that, Tabor, where do we begin?
Social media accounts, Mason, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Truth Social, Getter, TikTok. There's too many, guys. TheChurchofMMA.com. It has all the links to every single social media account. It has links to our Patreon. It has links to our YouTube. Everything. And as I said, Patreon. Exclusive vlogs. Exclusive podcasts. Second service. We are recording those. Had a great one last night.
Yeah,
also,
we really did.
I had a lot of fun having that conversation. Shout out to Cosmo Reaver, already here. Our Patreon subscriber in the chat. Your shirt is coming, my guy. It's coming very, very soon. I think I'm going to make the order right after this episode. So shout out to you.
Yeah, shout out to Crown Clown 02. I lost all my church coin, but he made the biggest super chat in the history of our podcast. So, I got to get him a sweatshirt as well. So, shout out to Crown Clown 0. McKiley running the ones and twos today. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. McKiley, could we do something real quick? Could you go to camera 1, but then adjust camera 3 on Tabor because it's a little far out and it's a little too high. We can come down on him a little bit.
Thank you so much.
I think both of them need to be a little more zoomed in too. But
it is what it is, guys. We do it live. Setting up in the new studio. We got a whole bunch of stuff moved out, so it's looking way better.
Oh, yeah, the studio looks way better. We got a bunch of crap that didn't need to be in here out of the room today. Me and Tabor did a lot of work in here, so I'm happy. I'm happy with it.
Very happy with the progress. And what a fucking week we are going into, because not only do we, like we just said in the title, it's in the title, guys, a UFC 267 recap. What a fucking fantastic night of fights.
Wow.
And then to go into the next week, another pay-per-view caliber card.
Does it get any better?
It doesn't.
Nope.
It doesn't. I can't wait. I'm super excited. But we got to start at the top, as always, with the recap show. Main event of the evening, Jan Blachowicz, Glover Teixeira for the light heavyweight championship of the world. Oh, my goodness. I don't think anybody expected that. Like, no. I mean, a lot of people are saying that Glover has a legitimate chance of winning, but I don't think anybody expected him to go in and dominate the way he did.
I'm not just saying this. Again, I picked against Glover again. This whole run, I've bet against him every single time, but this is not hyperbole here. This is one of the greatest stories in mixed martial arts history. History has been made. The oldest champion to win a belt in the UFC at 42 years young, Glover Teixeira. What an incredible story. What an incredible career that this man has had. And to go out there and beat a guy with so much power that so many people counted him out yet again, and he gets the job done again. This is what movies are made of. This is what those Rocky stories are all about, man, is triumph and overcoming all odds, like seemingly all odds, like you'll never win. And he goes out there and doesn't just win, wins in a second round in one of the most dominant ways, a rear naked choke. The choke... He had the choke maybe for 2 seconds and Jan tapped because he knew he was done.
And we're going to have to talk about that. I mean, if you guys watch our Fight Companion, go back and watch that. Obviously, finish this episode first. Wait for this live stream to end. Go back and watch our Fight Companion from last night. It is easy to listen to regardless if you're listening to the fights or not. That's one thing we strive to always do to make the conversation interesting. But Zach Lacey, shout out to you. He was freaking the fuck out after that fight.
Bro. I thought he was going to kill a man. I thought Zach was going to punch someone in the room.
He was He punched the door. I'm not going to lie. It's broken. It's never been fixed. No,
I'm just joking. Never going to get it fixed.
Guys, Zach, just take it easy. All right. You got a little bit of an anger issue, my guy. But nonetheless, it was a fucking hilarious because he was convinced that Jan was a pussy for that. I mean, it's not a good look. Like, I know it's Glover Teixeira, one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners we have at 205 right now, easily. Fantastic wrestling. He's got the grip strength and the fucking... he could have popped his head off. You know the squeeze of that. Mm-hmm. It was very elite. But, it wasn't even a second. It was 2 seconds in. Yeah. And Jan tapped immediately. He tapped the second it got cinched.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of the thing. Like, I understand, a lot of people giving Jan Blachowicz a lot of grief here, a lot of crap, kind of trolling him a little bit. But I mean, if a choke is sunk in and there was no defense there, he had that choke locked in.
Yeah.
You were not going to escape
out.
it. So I mean, what is he going to do? Do you just want him to go out on a shield and just, even though he knows he's going to go out, or just tap? Like, at the end of the day, like, I don't want to focus too much on that, because we have to focus more on how good Glover Teixeira is.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
And I think it's worth bringing up, of course, on this podcast, and that's what we're trying to talk about on these shows. But at the same time, man, like, if it's sunk in, it's sunk in, and Jan knew the fight was over.
It was.
And so where I do get it, I do agree. It was really fast and maybe not the best look, but hey,
it wasn't a good look, but it is what it is. You're absolutely right.
It is what it is, man. Like, when it's sunk, it's sunk. So.
Yeah, it's super unfortunate for Jan, because, I mean, he had a lot of hype coming into this fight, and, he was talking a lot of shit, talking about how he is, for sure, the greatest light heavyweight in the world right now, and it was only just piled on after that submission. John Jones was chirping up on Twitter. Corey Anderson was chirping up on Twitter. It's, all these people are chirping, pushing the man when he's already down.
Yeah, okay, so that's something I want to bring up. Okay, because remember, you had people like Chael Sonnen, never kick a man when he's down. But isn't John kind of the king of kicking people when they're down? Isn't he just the guy who always
Anthony
does
Smith
it?
situation? I know we've brought this up millions of times.
So
before,
it's kind of like fuck him. So anytime he does bad, I don't feel bad about talking about it. I don't feel like I'm not a good person when I kick him when he's down, because like that's all he does to everyone else, right?
Yeah.
So but yeah, no, I saw that stuff on Twitter. I saw him basically just trolling the hell out of Jan, saying that you think you're the best light heavyweight in the world, yet you get choked out like that, yada, yada, yada. But again, whatever.
Cosmic, shout out to you. It's a new name in the chat. I appreciate you showing up. Make sure you subscribe and like, my guy. But Zach was right. UFC should have cut Jan absolute pussy. It is what it is, man. It was a quick tap, but, it was kind of like the Islam Makhachev Dan Hooker situation. We'll get into that a little bit later. But, I mean, that guy, he essentially got saved by the ref there. I mean, what else was going to happen? Either you get put to sleep or your neck snaps. So
it is what it is.
Let's get on to Glover Teixeira, because that's where we really should be talking about the complete dominance. He was beating Jan Blachowicz on the feet in that second. And to not only in the first, to immediately take him down and ragdoll him. Ragdoll him, completely outclass him on the ground. He didn't get up once. I don't even think he was close to making a good attempt. It was complete domination from Glover. And like I said earlier, nobody expected that. I didn't see Glover beating him on the feet, cracking Jan multiple times like that.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. It's incredible.
It's absolutely incredible. And again, Let's talk about the career thus far. Since 2018, losing to Corey Anderson was his last loss. Glover Teixeira. Since then, he's beaten guys like Nikita Krylov.
It's insane right there.
He beat Ian Kutalaba.
Insane.
Beat Carl Roberson.
Yep.
Okay? You continue on, and this is where it gets really fucking impressive. He goes out there, doesn't just beat Anthony Smith, absolutely dominates him. Where do you remember that fight? Because everyone's like, man, that fight should have been stopped. You can't let him go out on a shield. Call the fight. He was taking so much unnecessary punishment. And then he goes out there, and no one on planet Earth, outside of Glover Teixeira and his family, his coaches, and friends, thought he was going to go out there and beat a guy in Thiago Santos, the same guy that went 5 rounds with John Jones, and it was a very close fight.
Ragdolled him.
But exactly, he went out there again and absolutely outclassed and dominated Thiago Santos. And then you get the Polish power himself, Jan Blachowicz. So many people thought, there's no way Glover's going to win this. He's going to get caught one time, and then it's lights out. He's got a shot if he takes him down, yada, yada, yada. But it was, again, a domination. This fight was all Glover from the start of the bell to that when he sunk in that submission. It was all Glover Teixeira last night or last morning, whatever you want to say. It was absolutely phenomenal. And it made me feel so good as a fan watching that. It was such a beautiful moment in this sport because, like, it's corny, it's cliche, but, like, great things really can happen. Like, you can defy all odds if you really, truly believe that you will be the champion of the world. And that's what Glover Teixeira did. He never fell away from that, you know? He went through those trials and tribulations, you know? He talked about not being motivated after losing to John Jones and having that huge opportunity after winning 6 straight, working up to that point. He said, you know, he had to find himself again. And then to have this resurgence resurgence after that loss to Corey Anderson in 2018. And to go on the run that he has at the age that he is something I don't know if we'll ever see in this sport again. As far as like how old he was and how he was able to dominate the best in the world and then to finish the champ in the second round. Holy hell. Hats off to you, Glover Teixeira. You are a future Hall of Famer. And I just like, even though I picked against him every time because I just didn't see it, but man, he's got a heart of a champion.
And I can't stress this enough. I mean, people are giving Jan a lot of shit for the quick tap. I understand, it's not the best look in the world. I understand that. I'm not going to sit here and say, it wasn't good or bad, but this was a Jan Blachowicz that beat Israel Adesanya. This was a Jan Blachowicz that flatlined Dominic Reyes. Mm-hmm. This was a Jan Blachowicz that, who did he knock out before that fight? Corey Anderson.
Yep.
Corey Anderson's going to go be one of the best light heavyweights in the world right now over in Bellator.
Yeah.
Glover has time and time again defied the odds. Every single fight he's been an underdog, I think his last 5 fights or something like that, he's won.
Yep.
How many times do we count this man out? Like, even he's the champ now. And we're still going into his first title defense. We're going to be like, nope, he ain't beating Prochazka.
No, there's no way.
Prochazka's going to knock him the fuck out. It's not happening. But just wait and see.
Yeah,
You can't count him out.
No, I've definitely got a wait and see approach.
Yeah.
At this point now, I don't care. And Jerry Prochazka.
Scary.
And so unorthodox. He's a wild man. He's literally got the warrior spirit. He'll go out there and throw crazy shit, flying knees, spinning back elbows, and then like do a cartwheel or some shit in the octagon. You're like, what is he even doing? But you can't count Glover out.
No,
you can't. And I'm not going to do it. I'm not. As long as this guy's in the UFC, as long as he's got a career here, I'm not going to count him out. That fight, as crazy as it is, should be even money because at this point, Glover's on the run of all runs. Mm-hmm. At his age. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful thing. I keep going back to it, but so beautiful, man. Like, this sport's amazing.
Just watch. People are going to be shocked when this fight gets made and Prochazka's a minus 300 or something like that. People are going to be really shocked if Glover goes in there and fucking just dominates him on the ground. And I'm going to be there going, I guess I told you so, guys. It could definitely happen. I mean, I'm probably leaning Prochazka in that fight just because the power, the unorthodox striking, as you said, the sneakiness.
But the thing is he came over from PLA or PF, whatever that organization is.
It wasn't PFL. It was Ryzen.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. It was
yeah.
Ryzen. Yeah, it was Ryzen. But he did kickboxing, all that. But we really haven't seen Jerry Prochazka off his back. No. At least in the UFC, we haven't at all. So I'm very curious to see how good Jerry's takedown defense is going to be in those situations against Glover, because Glover's one of the best in the world, especially at light heavyweight. Mm-hmm. Absolutely one of the best in the world. And like we have seen time and time again, the best in this division not be able to take him down. So for me, man, I just got to say, like, Jerry, yeah, he's a great fighter, but Glover might win that one. He takes him down, he might dominate him again.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Cosmic with a super chat. Say the V word and I'll send more. I don't know what you're talking about.
The V word. I'm gonna have to say it's gotta be vagina, right? That's the only word I can think of. Yeah. Because Zach kept calling him that on the podcast. That'd be my.
Okay, I guess. Okay, Glover's a pussy. Send me $100.
Hey, shout out to you, Cosmic. Thank you so much. Thanks for being a part of the show,
guys,
man.
All of this money in super chats is going straight to cocaine and hookers. We appreciate everything you guys send.
Yep.
All right. No, it goes back into the show. We just bought brand new lights. We're getting new cameras next. Things are really popping here.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely want to get 4K cameras and just up the production quality. We have brand new lights. They look really good. It's evening everything out a lot. Because if you guys have been here for a long time, you realize our lighting sucked. We sucked at lighting our show. So thank God for these lights. And thank you for everyone super chatting, buying merch, like this, the man, the myth, the legend sweatshirt. All of that goes back to the show, guys. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate everything. But, to round off, damn well that words, it rains with, oh, no, I'm not saying it.
Yeah, no, you know what? I'll say it. I'll say it. In no context whatsoever, but vaccine. There we go. All right, moving forward.
Banned immediately.
Banned. You can even be pro.
Immediately.
You can be pro. It doesn't matter. There's you just can't say the word.
Take it. All right. So let's get into Glover. Obviously, Prochazka. It's got to be. It's the only fight to make. When does this fight get made, do you think? Is it February or maybe even a little later?
Well, again, obviously, we'll go back to Glover real quick. Didn't take any damage
Yeah.
in this fight. So I think February would be, and here's the thing too, like with Glover being 42 years old, he wants to get back in the octagon, especially not taking any damage. I love the February
paydays.
Yep. I love that February deadline. Or not deadline, but I love that that matchup in February. I think it makes sense. You can get a full 8-week training camp, coming off Christmas and New Year's. I like that idea, man. I love it.
Yeah. So, and if it doesn't, I wouldn't be shocked if they go, let's wait 6 months. Let's see, take a little vacation with my family, enjoy this victory and all that. And he'll maybe come back soon. But I love this matchup. Yeah. Jiri Prochazka, it's the only matchup to make. He doesn't have to fight again. This is the matchup to make. It's only a matter of time. And the future in this light heavyweight division is looking fantastic.
Well, let's talk about this too. Hats off and respect to Jiri Prochazka for making weight as well and going through weight cutting and going through the whole process, flying out to Abu Dhabi just to be the backup. And you see those kind of guys get rewarded. We had that Michael Chandler situation where it was Gaethje versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. And Michael Chandler came in, he weighed in, he made weight, but did not fight. But who got the next shot after that?
Michael Chandler.
Michael Chandler. He did lose, but hey, it is what it is. But nonetheless,
it is what it is.
So you want to reward those kind of fighters. And so I'm really glad that Jiri will get the next shot, unquestionably.
Oh my goodness, another super chat. Shout out to Mikhaili Knight. I don't know how you have time to do that while you're running the 1s and 2s.
Wow, that's even more impressive.
What? We love
She's
it.
sending out super chats and hitting the 1s and 2s, guys. That's impressive.
Thank you so much for feeding my addictions. I appreciate that. Let's move on to Church Coin picks. I took Glover. I had a feeling, man. I was done counting him out. I didn't take him in any of those big main events he had. I thought he was going to get smashed by Smith. I thought he was going to get smashed by Santos for sure. And I was like, I just can't not take him in this fight. Plus, he was at plus 230, which was a great value in my opinion. Yeah. Put 2,000 Church Coin on him, gave me a nice return of 4,600 Church Coin.
Man, it was so fun. The fight companion, we're all in Halloween costumes, but bro, I got trolled so hard by Jason, especially.
Jason Balmer or something like that.
He was keeping track on how many times I lost in a row. I went 0-6 on this card. I didn't pick a single fight right. So go me. And it was so funny because I picked every single underdog, and the one underdog I didn't pick was Glover, and I should have picked Glover. And of course, that was the underdog that won. But hey, whatever, man. It is what it is, right?
It is what it is.
I hit that button a lot today.
We're going off tonight.
Wow.
We're going off today. Another super chat. Cosmo Reverb, our #1 fucking fan. Shout out to you,
dude.
my guy.
Thank you.
We appreciate you so much. Guys, this super chat's like, you guys don't understand how much we appreciate it. We're just going to keep repeating ourselves. Like, it is baffling to us. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on to the co-main event of the evening. The fight of the night, by the way. Petr Yan and Corey Sandhagen. Holy fucking shit. Fight of the year contender.
Oh, absolutely. And completely lived up to the hype.
Yes.
We always talk about how Petr Yan is a slow starter. It takes him some time to get the timing, the rhythm down. And when you're dealing with Corey Sandhagen, who's long and lengthy and he leads with that jab a lot, it's really hard to get that timing. Petr Yan lost in my judges. Okay, we'll talk about the judges too, because that shit was wild. Yeah. I don't know how they scored that 4-1. That's egregious.
Yeah, that's crazy.
3-2, I'm fine with. I think Petr Yan definitely could have squeaked that out, and I think he probably did in that 5th round. But 4-1, come on, guys. Could you be more obvious for the home crowd? I mean, goodness. Did anyone see 4-1? Did you?
No.
Can you even make a case for 4-1?
No.
No, you cannot.
No, let's break it down round by round, really, because that's how you have to do it. If Sandhagen 1-2,
yep.
Yan 3-4, 5th is a fucking...
5th was real tough.
It was close.
I'm okay.
That was the closest round.
But I was also okay with Petr Yan winning that fight.
I thought he won the 5th.
Yeah.
Because I was saying, you guys were saying, I think Sandhagen took it, but just barely. And I was like, I don't know. Yan was marching him down and landing big shots. It was so close. I don't even remember the numbers in that 5th round, but it had to have been razor thin. I wouldn't have been shocked if that was a draw because of how close of a fight that 5th round was.
Yeah.
It was insane. But yeah, 4-1.
Yeah, 4-1 is absolute shit. I don't know how you could even show your face if you're a judge. That's just disgusting.
Doesn't make sense.
But you know what? I don't want to take away from this fight because it was a phenomenal fight. Those first 2 rounds, Corey Sandhagen
completely outclassing Yan on the feet.
Absolutely. I mean, just looked really good. And I was like, wow, Corey's got a lot of momentum here at the end of that round, 2nd round. I was like, he could really take over this fight. He wins one more round, and it's a wrap, Jack. Like, and that's what I'm thinking watching this live. I go, Petr Yan, he's got to start. He's got to start figuring out this timing. He's got to work inside. He's got to pressure Corey more. And as you said on the broadcast when we were doing the fight companion, Petr Yan, he's got to make it a dogfight, man. He's got to get in there and he's got to just get dirty with him. And
that's exactly what he did.
Exactly what he did.
He picked up the pressure. He's like, okay, I got 5-round cardio. You know, the first 2 rounds, I kind of was pretty conservative, and he was getting outstruck because of the conservativeness. When he got inside, just started putting the pressure on him, keeping him going backwards. Yes, he was still getting hit with stuff, obviously, but he knew he might have to eat 1 or 2 to land his big power shots, and he was stunning Sandhagen multiple times in that 3rd and especially the 4th there. Credit to both these men's chin for eating the shots they did in that fight.
Oh, yeah. And here's the thing. Petr Yan, too. The spinning back fists.
Yes.
He landed a few of those. And Corey took him. He wobbled him one time and actually dropped him.
Yeah.
But a testament to both these guys because they're so incredibly tough, man. I mean, they both landed huge shots on each other, kept marching forward, kept getting to business. Absolutely love this fight. This has got to be a contender for Fight of the Year. I really enjoyed it. And especially an interim belt, obviously bantamweight belt, you know, with so much controversy surrounding this. And then to add this fight to all that controversy only makes this division actually better. And like, you know, Aljamain Sterling was watching that fight going, oh man, please Corey win, please Corey win, please Corey win. Because, you know, like he got the fluke win in the first round, submitted Corey. But like, you know, that's what he was thinking. And when he saw Petr Yan come on strong in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, I can only imagine what
neck.
Sterling was thinking.
My neck,
like,
my neck, it hurts.
You know what? I might need
another
more
6 months.
surgery. Yeah, he goes, you know what? I'll just take my time with this belt.
Yeah, that was the real title fight, man. I'm just going to fucking say it. That was the real undisputed bantamweight championship of the world. I don't know what else to call it. That's what that was. Like, those were the 2 best bantamweights in the world fighting each other at that moment in that octagon. That was a bigger fight than Aljamain Sterling, Petr Yan 2. I was a more hype fight. That was the one I was excited for. That was the real championship, interim belt aside. That's the real champion right there. It's Petr Yan.
Absolutely.
And I'm not looking forward to this rematch with Aljamain Sterling. I'm just going to say it. I think Jan's going to piece him up again. I don't see Aljamain Sterling evolving his striking to the level to be able to be competitive with Jan at this moment, especially if he isn't training as much as he possibly should be, coming off of neck injuries and surgeries and all this. Very interesting talking points going into that fight.
Yes.
When does this fight get made?
Okay, so when does it get made, and then what do we do in this bantamweight division now, right? Because we have the champ, Petr Yan, and yes, whatever. They're going to make this fight with Aljamain Sterling. I do think after 5 rounds, I think Petr Yan's got to take a little time. I'm not talking
that was a
6
war.
to 8 months, but at least a few months to
at least 3 or 4.
recuperate. And then obviously Aljamain Sterling, we don't know his condition, how much more time he's going to need until he's ready to fight. But if I had my best guess, I would say anywhere between April and June is where I really think we're probably going to get that title fight.
Early summer I think would probably be the best bet. Late spring, early summer. That's a great prediction there.
But here's the thing. Let's talk, because we already know that fight's kind of set. Well, it is absolutely set in stone. You got to quote unquote unify the belts. But I think we know who the champ is there. But here's the thing. What do we do in this bantamweight division? One of the best divisions right now in the UFC. One of my favorite, if not my favorite. I love this division. There are killers all the way down this list here. So Corey Sandhagen losing a razor-thin decision. I mean, I know the judges had it 4-1, but yada, yada, yada. Go fuck yourself. What do we do with Corey Sandhagen? Obviously, we have TJ Dillashaw in the wings, who just came off that decision win against Corey Sandhagen as well. You also have Rob Font, I believe, fighting Jose Aldo. Is that still confirmed?
That is confirmed. That's after Vieira Tate, I believe.
Yeah. So that fight's confirmed. We also have Merab Dvalishvili in the wings here at number 6.
Fuck.
What happens though? I mean, I brought it up on the broadcast where we were doing the fight companion. You're like, no, dude, I don't want to see that again. They shouldn't have to do that again. But I'm kind of almost like, well, number 1 contender, who else are you going to give these to? Do you do a Dillashaw-Sandhagen rematch because that fight was so close for the number 1 contender? Or is the new number 1 contender the winner of the Rob Font Jose Aldo?
That's a great question. If Jose Aldo beats Rob Font, I don't know, especially if Jan's still the champ. If Jan beats Sterling and then Jose Aldo wins that fight, I don't see them remaking that fight.
I completely agree with you.
You know what I'm saying? I think they'd rather go a different direction with that. Maybe a TJ Dillashaw. I think TJ Dillashaw is the next guy. I think after this Sterling-Jan fight, I don't see them doing. I mean, I'm not saying I don't want to see Sandhagen and TJ Dillashaw too. I do. That's a fantastic matchup. I think they're going to fight at least 3 or 4 times. Who knows? But I would rather. Not that I would rather. I know what's going to happen. TJ is not taking a fight. He's going to wait for this championship fight. He wanted that beforehand. He knew that Aljamain Sterling was going to throw a wrench in this division, and regardless, win that fight. He knew he had time, so that's why he took the surgery. So I really want to see if TJ Dillashaw can beat a Petr Yan, because that's the fight, in my opinion, is TJ Dillashaw, Petr Yan.
Oh man, I'd be ecstatic for that fight. And TJ Dillashaw, we also have to look at the business side of things with the UFC. As per usual, it's about making money at the end of the day. Who is the biggest draw in the bantamweight division? It's a name recognition, and that's TJ Dillashaw, especially after all the controversy, especially him coming back, having a great fight with Corey Sandhagen. I do believe that makes a lot of sense. Yep. And it's a very marketable fight for the winner of this Aljamain Sterling Petr Yan. TJ, coming off the surgery, getting healthy, takes on the winner of that fight, which we all know will be Petr Yan. So yeah, man, I don't know. I don't really know what we do. If Rob Font, I think, goes out there and has a very impressive win against Jose Aldo, I think he does have a case.
He has a case for a number one contender fight, if not another title shot afterwards. It's just maybe you do a TJ Dillashaw, Rob Font, or even if TJ wants to fight, I just don't see it happening. I don't think he's going to. But if TJ does go, okay, I'll fight one more time, then you do Aldo Font, the winner of that. Or you do, shout out to Cosmo Reaver in the chat. Yep, Corey can fight the winner of Aldo Font, which I also love that matchup as well.
And that's actually the route that I think the UFC will go. Let's look at the courts over this year. Obviously, let's just say this fight happens in April. Aljamain Sterling, Petr Yan, April. Petr Yan wins. TJ Dillashaw takes on the next title shot. Okay? So at this point, Rob Font, if he were to go out there and beat Jose Aldo, Corey Sandhagen, Rob Font for the number one contender in that division, right? And then whoever's the winner of TJ Dillashaw, Petr Yan will take on either a Rob Font or Corey Sandhagen. I think that's how it shakes out this year. I think that's what we're looking at. I feel bad for Merab Dvalishvili, but when his teammate loses in April to Petr Yan, it'll open the door for him, and maybe he can get a good fight.
Here's how, if I was Dana White and I was Sean Shelby McMahon, this is what I would do.
I already know what you're going to say, bro.
Corey Sandhagen versus Merab Dvalishvili for a number one contender fight. Let's just say that, Jose Aldo's they love Jose Aldo in the UFC. They love themselves. So regardless, whoever wins that fight's probably going to be a number one contender and maybe be right in line behind TJ Dillashaw or might fight TJ Dillashaw. So let's just take them off the table. Corey Sandhagen, Merab Dvalishvili. Oh my! That's just blowing my mind right there. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see.
I'd absolutely love that
because he has to be in the mix. Merab has to be in the mix. Who's he going to fight otherwise? I mean, Merab's not going to fight fucking Frankie Edgar or Dominic Cruz or something like that. It has to be a Rob Font, Jose Aldo, Corey Sandhagen. It has to be a top 5 matchup.
Yeah,
it has to.
Yeah, it has to. And he's a guy who definitely deserves it. But that's how good this division is. I mean, they're all killers.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, you look at this list, you're just like, this isn't real life. Like, any one of these guys could be holding the belt, even all the way down to Dominic Cruz, former bantamweight champion. I mean, goodness gracious.
It's ridiculous.
It's so stacked. I love it. But
yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to Church Coin picks. So I took Yan. I thought he was just going to have the better boxing, and I was sweating bullets there for the first 2 rounds. I'm not going to lie. Put 2,500 Church Coin on, and it gave me a nice return of 1,042 Church Coin.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, I put 5,000 Church Coin on Corey Sandhagen. I really like the length. I like his unorthodox striking and how he's always switching positions. I thought that would be a real challenge for Petr Yan. I came to be right majority of the time, but Petr Yan, again, turning it up late in those rounds to do enough to win on the judges' scorecard, and that's why we call him the champion of the bantamweights, is because he was able to do that, able to figure out Corey Sandhagen's timing, and again, a great fight, but I did lose 5,000 Church Coin. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to, I'm sure, a lot of people's favorite fight of the night. A lot of people in Abu Dhabi were very happy, and let's get into those fights.
Yes.
Islam Makhachev versus Dan the Hangman Hooker. Oh my goodness. Just domination station.
Yeah, absolutely.
It didn't even give Hooker a chance.
No.
It wasn't the dominance that we saw the fight before, but it was fucking, the 2 fights before with the Hamzat stuff, but it was very, very close. Very dominant. I don't think Islam took any damage.
No, I don't think he did either. He essentially took Dan down right away.
And immediately just ragdolled him.
Yeah, just ragdoll. I mean, did exactly what he wanted to do against him, and there was no chance for Dan to try to defend that submission. But I do want to talk about this because it is controversial, and I just want you to hear me out on this. Okay, was that fight over? Yes, I'm not arguing that. I'm really not. However, it's a slippery slope when a referee can determine whether or not someone is submitted and whether or not someone is giving up in a fight, okay? Now, I understand there are a few different ways that you can tap, one of those being verbal, okay? When you're in a compromised position and maybe your other hand is trapped, you cannot tap, so you have to verbally tap. My understanding was there was no verbal tap from Dan Hooker. Now, again, do I think Dan Hooker was getting out of that submission? No, of course not. But you have to give the fighter an opportunity, and you have to allow that fighter to make his own choices. If Dan thought he could get out of that submission, which I don't think he could, but if he thought that, you have to give him that opportunity to try and get out. Because what's going to happen down the road when these referees start, a choke's deep and the guy's like, no, I'm good. And they're like, no, he's not. We'll pull it off. It's over. Or an arm's caught and you think, I mean, there've been so many arm bars that I've seen in the UFC where I'm like,
arm snapped.
How about this? Tony Ferguson as well. We thought his arm fucking snapped.
And he got out.
Yeah.
And so his shit was bent backwards.
It was
That's
bent
a great
backward,
point.
and it was gross. I was like, oh my God, his arm's broke. Still fought. And it did enough, the arm wasn't broke, but we all thought it was. There was also that situation where we thought that guy's arm was broke. I forget who it was, but his elbow just popped out for a second. So there's a lot of situations where you can literally bring up and be like, hey, I'm glad the ref didn't step in. This is just a slippery slope when you start calling fights before the fighter verbally taps.
No,
This
I
is
agree.
a mano-y-mano sport, and you have to allow that fighter every opportunity. The second he calls tap, then you call the fight. But I did not agree with that stoppage. As far as for the health and safety of Dan Hooker, yes, I agree with that. But again, you're a ref. Your job is to stop the fight when you hear a tap. There was no tap. I didn't like that stoppage. If the fighter wants to go out on a shield, even if that means a year and a half of recovery because he's got a torn ligaments or a broken arm, you have to let that man go out on a shield. You have to. And yes, there are different situations where if a guy's getting his ass beat, and you throw in the towel. I'm not saying that, but in these scenarios when that guy thought he could potentially get out, you got to let that fight continue until he verbally taps. That's just my opinion.
I agree 100,000% with everything you just said. But I'm going to play a little bit of devil's avocado here, a little bit of devil's advocate.
Nice.
You knew it. I knew it. The ref knew it. Islam knew it. Dan knew it. He wasn't getting out. Mm-hmm. His arm was going to get snapped in half. And we just got to chat here. Shout out to Imad Amri. I'm fucking terrible. I'm destroying your name. I'm sorry. Imad Amri or whatever. Hey, referees are there for fighter safety first. He could have broken his arm. It could have been a career-ending injury. He's got a point. The referee did save him from himself, which is his job. But there's been a lot of different situations in the UFC where you've seen people get out of stuff that they shouldn't have.
So and what if the ref would have called that in all those scenarios?
And in that aspect, I absolutely agree.
It's not.
It's just, the man was doing his job, really. And he was putting the fighter's safety above the fight, which is what he did.
And again, I don't hate it, and I understand it.
Yeah.
It's just I don't want this to become the new trend.
Yeah.
Where this kind of stuff is happening all the time. Obviously, we know Islam's record. We know the ground game fiend that he is, the submissions that he can put you in and completely break your arm and make you miserable the whole time you're fighting him. And Islam won that fight. He was going to win that fight. We saw that from the ring of the bell as soon as he took him down. So I'm not arguing with that. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it in this situation. I just do not want to see this become a trend. That's all I'm trying to say.
I understand that.
That's because it's gonna get very interesting when you start having guys like Tony Ferguson when he was in that arm bar, and then they're calling it over and over and over again before guys tap. Because what's the point of having a tap if a referee can just step in and call the fight, tap or not? So again, in this scenario, I'm fine with it. He protected the fighter. He did what he had to do. I'm not mad at it. But I just don't want to see it anymore. That's all I'm saying.
And, you almost have to mention the fact that there was a referee that got kicked off the card earlier because of the prelims. I mean, there was a fight that needed to be stopped, and the guy didn't.
Right.
So, I mean, maybe that had something to play with it. Maybe they went, hey, guys, stay on your fucking ones and twos, stay on your toes, because this shit just happened, and, you know, this guy could fucking have severe damage because of it, and he fucked up.
And you know
maybe
what?
that could have played a big factor into that.
That's actually a great point that you make there, and that's something that, now thinking about it, may have factored into that to that call of making that call. Like, that's a very good point. That's a very good point, because earlier that night, that fight should have been stopped. That was egregious. That guy was getting his ass beat. You know,
you have
he
to
needed someone to step in.
You have to look at every situation differently. It's just because it's such an individual sport, and every situation is different. Every fight plays out differently. Like, you can't have a blanket rule where you see this, you have to stop it or not, because there are so many different situations that we've been in the past where people have gotten out of stuff where they have, and people have snapped their arms when or have had their shit broken when you thought they were fine. It's a very tricky situation. Like we always say, guys, reffing in MMA, it's the hardest job to do.
Absolutely.
It's the most criticized job to do besides maybe judging, which isn't the hardest job to do. Get your shit together, judges, please. It's fucking egregious, some of the shit you do.
It pisses me off.
It's horrible, and it ruins careers. But you know what? I'm going to say it. I agree with you. I feel bad for Dan because he didn't even get the opportunity to get out of there, but we all know he wasn't going to. He was about to have his career drastically affected by that horrific arm injury that could have happened from that Kimura. And it was locked in, man. He was not getting out. So at the same time, I wish Dan would have had his opportunity, but I'm kind of at least a little bit happy he didn't, because now we still get to see Dan Hooker be healthy and come back here pretty soon instead of being off a year.
And that those are the positives.
Absolutely.
For sure.
There's positives and negatives with every situation, I feel like. So shout out to Dan Hooker for being a man. I mean, I hope he got heavily compensated for that fight, but I knew this was coming, man. Islam is the next big thing at the lightweight division. He's calling for a title fight. He wants to fight in Abu Dhabi for the title. Dana White says, you know what? That's not a bad idea. That sounds about right. So here's my prediction. Quarter 4, 2022, you will see Islam Makhachev fighting for the world lightweight title in Abu Dhabi as a main event. Mark my words, regardless of who wins Poirier-Oliveira, that fight will be made.
If Islam Makhachev gets a title shot, there's no better place on planet Earth in Abu Dhabi than Fight Island, man. I mean, you are going to make the most money humanly possible, having all those super rich, wealthy individuals. Yeah, at that fight, man. Like, yeah, so you get an Islam title fight, yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with you. It's got to be in Abu Dhabi, got to be on Fight Island, and that fight is ginormous. That fight is huge. I mean, we are looking at potentially the next Khabib Nurmagomedov. That's how good Islam is in this lightweight division.
Absolutely. He's the next big thing, dude. It is what it is. He's going to have to fight one more time. I think that's what they're going to end up doing.
So let's talk about the lightweight division now, as we just did with the bantamweights. That's why we do this podcast. We're big fans. We love talking about this. All right. So December 11th, UFC 269 is Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier for the undisputed lightweight belt. We also have Justin Gaethje at 2, Michael Chandler at 4. They're fighting this week, which we will preview here very shortly. That's 2 and 4. You also have Beneil Dariush at number 3. So are we doing a mini kind of tournament here? Do you think, now you just said that Islam has to take one more fight, and I actually agree with you. I think one more fight is very realistic, especially with this massive fight between Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler that I think everyone's wanted to see for a very long time. When Chandler was coming in, everyone's like, oh, Gaethje versus him would be great. So we're getting that. That's a huge fight. I like Beneil Dariush. Beneil has been on a streak here. He's been on a bit of a run. And if he could beat an Islam Makhachev, he'd make a very strong case for the next contender for the belt. But Islam goes out there and beats a guy who's on a hot streak like Beneil. It's a really good argument, right? So the winner of Gaethje versus Chandler, winner of Makhachev versus Dariush. What do you think about Dariush? Do you like that?
I love that matchup. I mean, ideally, the ideal situation for Islam Makhachev, 9-fight win streak, by the way. He should be just fighting for the belt right away. He shouldn't have to fight one more time, but he's going to.
Right. He's
going to have to. I don't see, let's just say devil's advocate, let's say Oliveira beats Poirier. If Justin Gaethje beats Michael Chandler, I mean, he might be slotted right there for the next title fight.
Yeah.
Which I think Islam's in a situation where he should probably wait a little bit just to find out what happens here with that title situation. Michael Chandler wins that fight. Oliveira wins that fight. Then you do Beneil Dariush, Islam Makhachev, number 1 contender. Michael Chandler's not getting the title fight or release immediate rematch with Oliveira that soon. But I mean, a Gaethje victory is huge. Like, let's be real.
Yeah,
you know, I think you have to notch them into. It just depends. If Poirier wins the belt, he's fighting Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje. He's not fighting Islam Makhachev.
Interesting. So I do want to talk about that. I do agree in the sense because Charles just beat Michael. So if Michael were to beat Justin, that wouldn't be a good immediate rematch, right? So you would go with the winner of Beneil Dariush Islam if Michael were to win that fight. However, if Gaethje wins and Dustin wins, I do think that's the matchup to make for the undisputed lightweight belt. I actually agree with you there. But that kind of puts Islam in a tricky spot, right?
Where he just fights Beneil and waits.
Yeah, he's going to have to wait. Yeah, he'll have to wait for his next shot. I mean, because
there's so many situations.
He's not going to fight Michael Chandler if he comes off a loss, and there's no sense. I mean, maybe Charles Oliveira if he loses his belt.
Yeah, I think he could fight the loser if he doesn't do Beneil. I mean, you got to say yes to Islam. Very difficult. Now you do. It's undisputed. This guy's top 5 lightweight in the world. You can't dance around him. He is in your face in this division. No one can turn him down anymore. He's earned the right to be here. He's earned the right to be a top 5 guy. That's why I love it. No one can turn him down anymore. So, hey, you want a shot at the title? You got to fight Islam. That's who you got to fight. They're all going to be like, nah, I would just stay at number 2. Yep. I don't want to fight that guy. You know, the first person to say yes and beat Islam is getting a title shot, period. I don't care what the fuck your number is. You beat Islam Makhachev, you're getting a title shot.
Absolutely.
It is what it is there.
Shout out to Ahmad Amir. Hey, love you guys. You think Islam can stand with Poirier? That's a very interesting question. You know, it's funny because we were just talking about this last week where we think Islam, as far as the striking department, actually probably had the advantage over Habib Nurmagomedov. The wrestling, that's kind of debatable. We will have to see Islam's career the more he goes down. But I would have to say on that, I don't think he needs to. I think stick to what you know, stick to what you're good at. And I think Islam would take Dustin Poirier down. I don't think he would stand with him for 5 rounds. I mean, am I wrong there? Do you think Islam wouldn't go for a shot?
I mean, look at it on paper. Let's go back and look at the Habib versus Poirier fight. I mean, Habib's striking obviously isn't on the level of Dustin Poirier, obviously. And I would say the same as Islam, obviously isn't on the level of Dustin Poirier. But the wrestling credentials are so high level that opens opportunities up for big strikes, which is what happened in that Khabib Poirier fight. Dustin had respected Khabib's wrestling so well that Khabib was actually finding success on the feet.
Well, that's what I was about to say.
Could be the same thing with Islam. He has such a wrestling threat that yes, he can find success on the feet with these elite high level strikers. But let's be real, he's just going to take him down and smash him. That's what the guy does.
Yep. And that's the thing, too. Like, we do have to put some respect on Habib's striking because it did look a lot better in those last fights. But again, do what you're best at. You know, like you don't have to play their game. Play your game because you're the champ. You're 29-0, you know. And that's kind of the same way I feel with Islam Makhachev. Do what you do best. Mm-hmm. Don't fall into the trap of like trying to be, the better striker or whatever. I think he can compete with the best of the best because his striking looks really good. But again, do what you're best at. And Islam Makhachev is best at smashing. That's what he does. He's smash. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's all he's got to do. But I love those matchups, man. I cannot wait for the future of Islam Makhachev in this lightweight division.
Yeah, we got to get moving on because we're going to be an hour into this recap.
Are you shitting me?
We're 45 minutes.
45 minutes into this?
We've only been 3 fights. Dude,
wow.
We got serious issues, guys. We love the sport.
Yeah, too much. Yeah,
it's
we just
religion.
ramble on and on. Holy hell.
We can go forever. Let's do this one quick because I don't really give a shit about this fight that much. Alexander it's church coin bets. I put 100 on Hooker. Islam was a minus 700. I didn't want to touch that with a 100-foot pole.
Yeah, guys, I went 0-6, so I lost. So
yeah, absolutely.
All right, moving on.
Yeah, Alexander Volkov, Marcin Tybura. The Volkov just completely outclassed Tybura on the feet. He used his length. He was fighting super well behind his jab. He used his kicks. He used his long arms and legs, and he looked like a spider out there.
It is what it is.
All right, yeah, no, I mean that's my analysis as well too. You took the words right out of my mouth. He just was better than
Tybura couldn't get the takedowns. It just
It is what it is.
I'm going to push that a lot.
I mean, Tybura tried to get inside, but I mean, Volkov did a really good job of keeping range, man, and just landing those strikes at will, and he just looked better. So yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Cosmo Reverb. This is what happens when you have a great night of fights to talk about. You're right. We could go in 3 hours.
I know.
We really could. All right, let's move on to another fight. We're going to talk for 45 minutes about Li Jingliang versus Hamzat Chimaev. Ooh. The Wolf is back, baby. The Wolf is back to pick the man up. Find Dana White, wink at Hezbollah, walk to the fucking edge of the cage, start talking shit to Dana White about how I'm going to smash everybody, ragdoll a giant 170 with crazy knockout power, a 170 that we all said is a legit threat to this division. Ragdoll him, not get touched once, smash the shit out of his head, sink in a submission, adjust multiple times, and then to put the man to sleep with 0 seconds left on the clock. What?
And then in the post-fight interview...
Or was that earlier?
And then in the post-fight interview...
No, he had time. He had like 2 minutes left on the clock.
He says... I will kill everybody.
Yeah.
And I started getting a little scared. I was like, hey, Chimaev, I'm sorry. I picked against you. Don't find me. Don't kill me. No. But in all seriousness, holy shit.
Dude, ridiculous.
Jing Liang didn't even land a strike.
No. So Khamzat Chimaev has more wins in the UFC than he has been hit.
That, like,
What?
like, does that register to everyone out there?
That doesn't make any sense. He has more victories than times he has been hit.
I just, like, it's baffling. I don't even know what to say.
The level of dominance is there, dude. He is up there. He is automatically already a top 5 guy, in my opinion. He needs to be fighting for a number 1 contender fight. There's a reason why they made that Leon Edwards matchup, man.
Yeah.
I think he could be the next 170-pound champion. He's the biggest threat to Usman right now. I'm just going to say it. He is the biggest threat to Kamaru Usman, because if you don't think he can't pick Kamaru Usman up and out-wrestle him like that, I don't know what to say, my guy, but that is without a doubt a possibility.
Oh,
Can
absolutely.
he outstrike Kamaru Usman on the feet? I don't know. Kamaru Usman, Trevor Whitman have looked fantastic as of late.
Yeah.
But, man, this is a scary, scary individual, and if I was a 170-pounder, I don't give a fuck if I'm Kamaru Usman. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm just saying that right now. It's incredible.
It's absolutely incredible, and I'm ready. I'm ready. And we were on the Chimaev hype train, Islam hype train before, and damn near anyone else, you know. And there's a lot of these big like MMA podcasts that have like shied away from those guys for a long time up until this point. But for Chimaev right now in his career, and to look as impressive as he did against almost a top 10 guy, I think Jing Liang
I think he was 11.
was at 11
Yeah.
at this point, but still to literally look so dominant. I mean, that is the definition of a perfect fight. It's
Flawless
like baseball,
victory.
right? You're a pitcher. The perfect inning is throwing 3 balls or throwing 3 pitches. Excuse me. It's not 9. It's not 3 for 3 strikeouts. It's 3 pitches, you know? And that's literally the definition of a perfect fight right there for Chimaev. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get hit one time, completely dominated. And like, dude, it was so wild. We were watching that, and he was talking shit. As you said, he was talking shit to Dana.
As he picked him up.
found Dana as he was slamming Jing Liang down. And I'm just like, dude, this is wild. This is what nightmares are made of, is
Yes.
this Chimaev character, man. So let's talk about this, because we have to. We absolutely do. Who do you match him up with next, Tabor?
Gilbert
if you're
Burns.
the matchmaker. Thank you so much.
Gilbert, it has to be.
'Cause
It's the only fight.
yeah,
It's
that's
the
what
only
I was
fight. It's
saying
a number 1
yesterday.
contender fight. You beat Khamzat, you're getting a title shot again.
Yep.
It is. Take that fight, Gilbert, because I can't fucking wait for that matchup. They're both huge. Gilbert's massive for the division. I cannot believe that man used to make 155, but Khamzat, I don't know how he makes 170. He's going to make... I'll get into that comment there, Imrad, in a minute, but it has to be Gilbert Burns. The level of jiu-jitsu off of his back with that level of wrestling, that's like a Tony Ferguson-Habib matchup that we never got. Yeah. That's what that is, and I can't fucking wait. It needs to be a number 1 contender fight. Khamzat's next fight. It is what it is. It has to be. I mean, I don't see... Or Vicente Luque. Like, that's it. Leon Edwards is going to get a title fight when he beats Jorge Masvidal. That is the only 2 fights to make. It's Vicente Luque or Gilbert Burns.
Well, I think, and I was saying that on the Fight Companion yesterday. The one that makes the most sense is Gilbert Burns. It has to be Gilbert Burns, because like, you beat Gilbert Burns, you're getting a title shot. And obviously Gilbert Burns, since losing to Usman, went out there, had a very impressive win against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. If
Wonderboy is another one. If Wonderboy fucking took that fight, that'd be fantastic.
That'd be
as
a
well.
great fight as well. And I don't disagree with that. However, I think that's a title eliminator right there. Obviously, Leon Edwards, Jorge Masvidal. If Leon wins that fight, title shot. If Jorge does, then whatever. But you do the winner of Gilbert Burns versus Chimaev for the next shot at the belt after Leon. If he gets a W against Jorge Masvidal, you got to do either Burns or Chimaev.
Yeah.
That's why I love that matchup. Because I think Chimaev's ready for a title, bro. I mean, you've never seen a guy that's dominant in UFC history.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Even Habib got hit.
I'm on this.
This guy ain't even getting it. He ain't even getting touched.
Not even touched.
He could fight 5 times a year again.
Yeah, and he wants to.
That's how good he is.
But he's going to have problems getting matchups. I think a lot of people are going to start saying no. A lot of people are going to be saying no. Gilbert Burns is crazy. He might say yes. Vicente Luque is crazy. He might say yes. Yeah. Which is why I love those guys. Steve Wonderboy Thompson, of course, is going to say yes. Nicest guy ever. He's going to fucking say yes. Yeah. Never says no in his life. But like, I can't wait for Khamzat Chimaev's future. I'm on this hype train. I'm going to say it. I'm on the hype train. I'm all in. I'm not picking against him for the rest of the year. Just curious, do you guys think Prime Khabib beats Prime Khamzat, or when you have a gun to your head, or do you match against? Wait, who do you match against Khamzat fucking Chimaev? Yeah, we just said it, Gilbert Burns. But bro, I mean, I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm gonna trigger a lot of people. Khamzat smashes Khabib. He is huge compared to Khabib.
Khamzat Chimaev, of course, the guy fights at middleweight.
Yes,
smashes. He fights at middleweight. Yeah, guys. I mean, come on. Like when you say greatest of all time, like that doesn't mean Khabib Nurmagomedov
is going to
go out there and fight John Jones and win that fight. Like you got to do weight classes. They got to. As far as lightweights are concerned, Khabib Nurmagomedov is the GOAT of all time. And you could do the whole pound for pound thing based on ranking and whatnot in weight divisions. But again, Henry Cejudo, Triple C, isn't going to go out there
and beat Khabib.
It's not going to happen. They're two completely different body sizes. Of course not. Of course not.
But in a street fight, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Khabib at 170, I'd say is a fucking threat to a lot of people. But I think Khamzat's just that good. He's too big.
I know.
He's too strong.
Give me that Gilbert Burns Khamzat.
Give me the Gilbert Burns fight. Yes, absolutely, 100%.
That's what I want.
Shout out to Cosmo Reverb. I wasn't on the Khamzat Chimaev chain before, but I'm starting to get on board. I still want to see him tested against more elite fighters in longer fights before I'm fully behind him. Well, that's the problem is, man, you could test the guy, but he's still probably going to get motherfuckers out in 30 seconds. So we're just going to keep saying the same thing until he's champ or until at least he gets a title shot. But I can't wait.
This is the pressure that we were putting on a year and a half ago on this podcast talking about Islam Makhachev. Mm-hmm. You and I would scream into the microphones, people, put an asterisk by his name. Islam Makhachev will be a star. He will be the future champion of this lightweight division. Trust us, he is good. And that's what we've done with Chimaev as well. And that's what we've done with these other fighters. It's like, and now, I feel like the MMA community is starting to wake up and really see the potential behind just how good these fighters are. So.
Absolutely. I can't wait. I think Khamzat might take a 185 fight before he gets a huge matchup in the welterweight. I mean, it depends. I mean, you might just have to go, hey, Burns, you fucking take this Chimaev fight. I'll give you an extra $100K in the paycheck or something like that. Yeah. You're going to have to make some moves to make this happen. But I cannot wait. I cannot wait. He's without a doubt, Khamzat Chimaev is my most anticipated fighter of 2022 and the rest of 2021. Cannot wait for the future.
Cannot wait.
All right. Let's go shout out to Imrad real quick. Do you think he beats Stylebender? I'm going to say it. Yes.
Oh, I think there's...
Yes.
I think
he does. I think I'm on that train too.
Uh-huh.
I think he does.
Uh-huh. Now, here's the thing. Here's the biggest thing. With Chimaev, he's got to be able to take down Israel Adesanya. Now, do I think he could do that? Absolutely. But Izzy is one of the greatest strikers in the world and one of the most elusive and just he's literally the style bender. He's incredible. Phenomenal striker. So I think the way Chimaev wins is definitely on the ground.
He's got to take him down.
He can't stand with Izzy for 5 rounds.
I mean, I think Usman probably beats Izzy, and I am 100% on this hype train with the Khamzat. I think he beats Usman. Yeah. That's just how good I think this man is. And I think he smashes anybody with his ground game, and his ground game is so elite. His wrestling is so elite that it sets up massive knockout shots. The guy's got power as well. We cannot forget about that Gerald Meerschaert fight. He's knocked out a lot of people. I mean, I love it. I love it. I love this man. He could be a double champ one day. Asterisk Khamzat Chimaev, guys. He's the next big thing right now, and he's going to be a massive superstar. He's already huge. He's already massive. He's only going to get bigger. So let's move on to Church Coin picks. I put 3,700 on Chimaev. He was like a minus 450. It gave me a return of 822 Church Coin. You lost.
Yeah, I did lose, but I do want to explain why, though. I do love Khamzat Chimaev here. But again, there were a lot of things that he went through and a lot of things that he had to overcome in this last year. If you guys forget, he had the big C, little V. He was going through, like, there were reports of him coughing up blood. It was so bad, and this guy kept training, and that he couldn't go more than a round without getting entirely exhausted. He had a very tough opponent in front of him in Jing Liang. And for me, like, with the odds so drastically high for Jing Liang as an underdog, I wanted to make sure and see that Chimaev could actually go out there and still have that cardio, still have that ass-beating ability. And, yeah, I think he proved it.
Yeah.
I think he still got it. And I'm so glad, in all seriousness, I'm so glad to see that he's 100% healthy and he's back at it. Because, man, I was scared. Because keep in mind, that year was insane for Chimaev, man.
The hype was unreal.
Up. It was unreal. And then unfortunate setback with his big C, little V, and all the things surrounding it over the last year. You know, his last fight before this was back in September. He took 13 months off because it was so bad for him. So I'm just glad to see he's 100% healthy. Shout out to Chimaev. Can't wait for your next fight. Give him Burns.
Yeah, shout out to Kevin in the chat. Thank you for showing up, my guy. Can't wait for 268. 267 was amazing. Shout out to Imrad real quick. Can he be a 3-division champion? That's a stretch, my guy. I don't know.
Yeah, the only problem with that is, like, 170, 185. I think
205.
205.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And he's not cutting to 155.
I mean, I'm not going to say never. I wouldn't say never because there might be guys that can, and if there was ever a guy that probably can and has the best chance, it might be him. But I don't know. I don't see that happening.
I don't see him at 205.
Some of the 205ers are just way too big, my guy.
They're huge. They walk around at 235, 240.
Yeah, Paulo Pasta. You
look
want to
at
see Paulo Pasta up there?
Yeah.
Even though I'm not going to lie, Hamza might smash Paulo Pasta. Yeah. I'm just going to say that right now. He might smash Paulo Pasta too. But anyways, let's see. Yeah, shout out to Cosmo. Let's see him be a 1-division champion first. Yeah, let's just take it easy, guys.
And that's the thing. That's what I don't. We'll get off Chimaev here eventually. But that's one thing I actually do not want to see right now from Chimaev. He's got so much hype behind him. I do not want to see him try to navigate 2 divisions right now. We know he can fight at middleweight. He has proven that.
He's a top 5
especially
middleweight.
with Gerald Mearshart and that fucking stiff right down the pipe that just knocked his ass out. We know he can fight at middleweight, but I want to see him on the path to this welterweight gold. I want to see him fight for a belt, and if he's successful in doing that, you've got the perfect candidate to move up to middleweight and take on that belt as well. That's the path I want to see for Chimaev. I do not want to see him 1 in welterweight, 1 in middleweight, 1 in welterweight. It's just not the smart way to do it, and it's going to take a lot more time. And if you lose 1 fight in 1 division, that can set you back.
Yeah.
And it can set you back a long time, man. I'm talking a couple years. I want to see him in 1 division right now. Keep it 170 and go for the belt.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're 1 hour into this recap show. We're not even finished yet.
No, we're not.
But let's move on to the last fight, the opening fight of the main card. 6 fights on the main card, by the way.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Fucking fantastic.
Shout out to all of them.
Yeah, Magomed Ankalaev, Volkan Ozdemir. Ankalaev, he's just the real deal, dude. He can outstrike anybody in this division right now. He is looking fantastic. I cannot wait for Ankalaev's future. I'm going to try and keep this one short and sweet.
Yep.
Just completely outclassed. A fantastic striker. Almost got the finish multiple times. Where do we see Ankalaev next? I mean, he has to be a top 5 light heavyweight now. I mean, Volkan Ozdemir was number 8. Ankalaev, I believe, was 7. I mean, you got maybe he stays right at 7. I mean, you got Thiago Santos, Dominic Reyes right there. You got Anthony Smith at 4, Rakic at 3. Prochazka's getting the next title fight. Now, who do you see Ankalaev fighting next?
So let's talk about that because realistically, we see Jerry fighting next for the belt against the brand new light heavyweight champion of the world, Glover Teixeira. You have Jan Blachowicz coming off that loss, obviously, which wouldn't be a bad matchup because we know Alexander Rakic and Anthony Smith are tentatively going to have that rematch, right? Because that's kind of when Anthony Smith won, he kind of called out Rakic. He really wants that fight. So that one makes sense to me. I think the UFC will more than likely do that fight. So now you have a few options. You go Jan Blachowicz coming off that title loss, Thiago Santos, or Dominic Reyes. Now, the only issue I have with Dominic Reyes is I feel like Dominic Reyes actually needs to fight down a little bit because he's on a bit of a skid, right? So I'd like to see him fight more of like a Nikita Krylov at 9. So it kind of just leaves Thiago Santos.
And I love it. coming off that freaking Johnny Walker victory.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic matchup.
It's a top 5 matchup, too.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I'd take Ankalaev all day in that. I'm not going to lie. I think Ankalaev might be the next 205-pound champion. I'd love to see how because we don't even see it.
Jerry.
Dude. Him versus Jerry would be wild. And then he doesn't even have to wrestle half the time. This man is a fantastic wrestler. He is just as dominant on the ground as like an Islam and Hamzat is. But he's so good and smooth and sneaky on the feet. He doesn't even need to use it half the time. So if he does get beat on the feet, he's always got that crutch to fall back onto. I love me some Magomed Ankalaev, and I can't wait for that. Thiago Santos all day. That's the fight.
Super impressive resume, too. I mean, 16-1 now as a light heavyweight. Yeah, definitely a top contender in this division. And again, as you said, looking forward to his future.
All right. So Church Coin picks really quick. I put 2,700 on Ankalaev. He was a big favorite. They gave me a return of 790 for Church Coin. You put 500 on Uzdemir, and
It is what it is.
let's move on to MMA news really, really quick. We're going to get through this one really quick. I'm going to skip the Sean Strickland stuff.
Yeah, we'll just skip that.
Yeah, we'll skip that. So, Giga Chikadze, Calvin Kattar, got finalized. It is a main event, January, one of the early cards. I believe it's the week before the Francis Ngannou, Cyril Gane fight. So that's a fantastic main event. Cannot wait. That's a very well-deserved main event for Giga Chikadze there against Calvin Kattar. And I believe this fight got announced a few weeks ago, but I don't think we ever talked about it.
No, I don't think we did
So it's worth a quick mention. Giga Chikadze, Calvin Kattar, gun to your head. Who are you taking there?
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. Because Giga's last fight, if I'm not mistaken, was Edson Barbosa.
Yeah, and
right?
he flatlined him.
Yeah, and he flatlined him. He looked phenomenal in that fight. Calvin Kattar, that Max Holloway fight was really rough. But since then, he bounced back. He's had a fight since then, right? He beat
Calvin? No, he hasn't fought since. This will be his
since
first.
that?
Yeah, I mean, dude, that was an ass beating.
Oh,
of all
give me
ass beatings.
Giga. Give me Giga,
Give me Giga in that,
Chikadze.
Yeah, I think he
no
smokes him.
questions asked. Yeah, give me him.
Especially coming after that Edson Barboza fight. Like, that was wild.
That's so crazy. I really thought Calvin fought since then, but dude, that's crazy, man. That's a damn near what? It's got to be at least a year off.
It's. I think it's just over a year. It's or exactly a year. It's really close to.
Because that was like a January card.
Yeah, it was absolutely. So shout out to both those men. Can't wait for that fight. But moving on to some other MMA news, we're gonna make this one quick as well. You remember how we were talking about the DV stuff a few weeks ago with Luis Pena, John Jones, and Chuck Liddell? So apparently a lot more details came out about the Chuck Liddell situation, and we're just gonna talk about this real quick because we put out a little bit of false info there. We were talking about Chuck Liddell got arrested for domestic violence. Another fucking guy and blah blah blah. Well, some stuff came out. Apparently his wife was beating his fucking ass and he had no choice but to call the police because his wife was beating him up. And then he is such a nice, good man, such a stand-up individual that he told the police because in that state, if there's a DV call, someone goes to jail no matter what. Someone has to go to jail. And he said, instead of making my kids watch the police put their mother in handcuffs and take her away, he said he volunteered and went with the police and went and stayed that night in prison for that. Or went and stayed that night in jail. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a little confused. Okay, so because I actually didn't see this story, and I wish I would have now that you're bringing this up to me, because again, we don't want to put out false information, especially with something that serious. Mm-hmm. So someone has to go to jail.
In some states, if there's a DV call, someone needs to be put in jail that night, no matter what.
So then,
if the police go there, someone's getting.
Were charges filed against Chuck Liddell?
No, but he did go to jail for that one night.
Wow. Okay. So no charges were filed, and he was not. That is actually confirmed. He was not the one.
Yes, he was the victim of the situation.
Interesting.
And he made the choice. Because someone has to be taken away. Someone has to. It's law. Someone has to go. He said, I don't want my wife being taken away in front of my kids like that. I will do that. Chuck, I wish I had an applause button because, that's a stand-up fucking guy move. Shout out to you, my guy, for that.
Yeah. Well, I guess our sincere, if all that's true, our sincere apologies to Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's kind of the clickbait tabloid bullshit fucking news organizations that report on that and don't give you the full story. But now that the details are out, huge apology to the Hall of Famer, Chuck Liddell. Man, and I'm glad, it wasn't Chuck Liddell in that situation doing that. So Yeah. Wow.
Crazy how something.
Yeah, you kind of took me. You kind of sideswiped me there. I didn't see that one coming, but yeah. So our apologies from the Church of MMA to Chuck Liddell. Yeah. Absolutely.
Shout out,
because we reported it as we saw it. Because that's what the headline said. That's what the reports were saying.
Yeah. And the details came out, I think, like 2 weeks ago about more stuff. But we've just kind of got sidetracked and didn't really. But I did want to make this quick correction. Shout out to Chuck Liddell. And he is getting divorced from his wife. And I hope everything goes smoothly for you, my guy, for both parties there.
Yeah, as do I.
Yeah. So shout out to you. Let's go on to our preview show. I mean, just be prepared for next week to also be a 2-hour-long podcast because we will probably be spending at least an hour and a half breaking down this fucking card.
Probably, man.
Back-to-back bangers, my guy.
Yep.
Back-to-back bangers. I am so excited. Back-to-back pay-per-view caliber cards. Thank you, Dana White. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, this is phenomenal. This is incredible. In UFC 268 is set in Madison Square Garden, one of the biggest stages you can be on. You have Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington headlining this. The rematch is on. Kamaru Usman 19-1 versus 16-2. Colby Covington. Tabor, what are your thoughts about this fight? And kind of just break it down for me. Where are you feeling on this?
I'm going to be honest. I agree. I mean, we've talked about this a lot coming into this. It's a very highly anticipated matchup that we've been looking forward to. The MMA community has been looking forward to. I think a lot of people are coming in just knowing. I mean, let's look at the odds. Kamaru Usman's coming into -300 to a +240, and Colby Covington. A lot of people are thinking Marty's going to go in there and smoke him. And I understand why. One, Kamaru's been the more active fighter. Look at his last few fights. He's been finishing guys on the feet. People were saying he was a boring fighter. All he did was wrestle, hump, and fuck for the longest time. But now he's knocking dudes out. He knocked out the best boxer in the division. He knocked out Gilbert Burns, who's got fantastic striking. And I think he knocked out Jorge Masvidal's foot in that first fight. So,
with those toe stomps.
The toe stomps. Remember how pissed off we were? Yeah. We're like, what the fuck is this shit? I can't believe they're making this rematch. We're going to see foot stomps all over again. And then they banged and he knocked him the fuck out.
First time in his career that he's been knocked out. First time he's been flatlined like that too. And what a knockout, man. I'm telling you, that knockout wasn't, that's like what, I know I always go back to it, but like that slow-mo and you see the just sweat fly off Jorge Masvidal's face in slow motion. It was so fucking cool. What a moment in the sport.
Yeah. And then you got Colby. He fucking knocked out Tyron Woodley's rib.
Well,
I mean, like a lot of people are using that as a negative. He's only fought one time. He fought a washed-up Woodley, which is, I agree with. He did fight once, and Woodley, he's not the Woodley of old. It is what it is there. But to think that Colby Covington has zero chance in that fight, I just don't think that's very accurate. The first fight, not only was it one of the most, I know it's been bugging me all fucking time.
Bro,
it's been flying right in front of my face this whole time. I know I'm trying to ignore it. But that first fight, one of the greatest fights of all time. Yep. It's got to be on the list, right?
Yeah.
Top 10 at the very least. I'd say top 8.
That fight is wild, and that's a fight I've watched many times.
I just went back and rewatched it.
And, I understand whatever some judges had 3-1. I had 2-2 going into that fifth, man. And
so one judge had 3-1 Colby going into the fifth, and one judge had 3-1 Kamaru going into the fifth, and then the last and third and final judge had 2-2 going into the fifth. And then Colby put it on in that early parts of the fifth round. I mean, if that fight went decision, I was leaning Colby Covington in that fight. He was on his way to becoming the welterweight champion of the world, but the champ did what the champ does. Finish the man, legitimate finish. I understand why Colby was making some very, very controversial statements about Mark Goddard afterwards. He was very unhappy with some of the way those situations went down with like the nut kick, and he was talking about the eye pokes, but he did poke him in the eye. Those are real. Those are legitimate, and I agreed with the stoppage. It is what it is there.
It is what it is.
But I think Colby Covington is actually developing his game. I think he's actually training, and I think he, Zach Lacey and Gideon was saying it on the podcast, Fight Companion. Go check that out, guys. Obviously, Colby has been training this whole time, and he's had almost a year to just focus on one person, Kamaru Usman. Can Colby Covington devise a plan to squeak out a victory and possibly outstrike or maybe even out-wrestle Kamaru Usman? I would say possibly yes. But as men do, we have to think on a balance of probabilities and not possibilities. What's more probable? That Kamaru Usman's going to go in there and knock him out in the third, or that Colby Covington's going to out-wrestle him or out-point him for 5 rounds? Probabilities on Usman, man. It is what it is there. I think Usman's evolved that much. I don't see Colby outstriking him. Do you?
Oh, absolutely not. And see, this is where you and I disagree. I lean very much towards the evolution and development of Kamaru Usman, as I've said time and time again on this podcast, has far surpassed anything that we saw between these two fighters in that first fight. I've seen so much growth in Kamaru Usman, and I really can't say I've seen a ton of growth in Colby Covington. Now, is that to say that he hasn't grown? Is that to say he hasn't become a better fighter? No, I'm not saying that.
It's just saying that Kamaru's been more active, so we have more to work with here.
Yes, and we have more to see. And I don't see anyone even competing with Kamaru Usman in a real tangible way right now. I mean, we all thought that Gilbert Burns fight was going to be his biggest test, right? And then the Jorge Masvidal rematch, we're like, oh, it's going to be a snoozer. Kamaru Usman knocks out a guy who's never been knocked out in UFC history or in the course of his career. And I just think now with this rematch, I think Kamaru Usman is going to go out there and I think he will finish Colby Covington again. I think he's going to do it sooner. And I think you're really going to see why this man is the undisputed welterweight champion of the world. And I do not see this belt. I really believe Kamaru Usman will go out there and retain his belt. I believe it. And I believe it more than I believe in Colby Covington's ability. Does Colby deserve to be there? Absolutely. He's one of the best welterweights in the world. And I think if Kamaru Usman wasn't in the UFC, I think Colby Covington damn well would be the champion right now. But you got one thing standing in front of you, and that's Kamaru Usman. And like just the mentality, this guy's got the toughest mindset I've ever seen in this sport. Like he reminds me so much of Michael Jordan, where it's like he might even like you as a person. Like look at Gilbert Burns, his training partner, but he had to come up with reasons why. I don't like this guy because of this, or because he chews gum funny, or whatever it is. And that motivates him to win fights. And I'm telling you, he's got the toughest mentality I've seen. I'm going Kamaru Usman. I think he's going to finish Colby Covington in the 4th round.
4th round?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. So do you think it's not going to be another instant classic? It's probably one-sided fight in your opinion? Do you think it's going to be domination, or do you think...
No, I do not. Yeah, no. I want to put some respect on Colby Covington's name. And I do, but again, as I said, like if Kamaru Usman wasn't there, he'd be the champ. So I don't think it's going to be dominant. I don't think Kamaru is just going to completely outclass him. I think Colby will land his strikes. I think he'll utilize maybe some of that wrestling, maybe some dirty boxing up against the cage. I definitely see that as a possibility. But as the fight goes on, Kamaru evolves. He studies his opponents. You can really see him studying his opponents. That jab has been absolutely unbelievable. I think it's going to wear on Colby Covington. Kamaru Usman's a lot better at going to the body now. I think that's just going to take its toll on Colby Covington. I think he's going to get tired. He's going to get gassed, and Kamaru will finish him in the 4th round. But I do see this fight being super entertaining, and I think it'll be set to be an instant classic again. I really do.
Really?
Yes, I don't think
this is not. This is not the take I thought you were going to say.
No, I don't think it's going to be like a complete, a Chimaev situation. Like just to bring that up, where it's like, oh, Kamaru takes him down and just beats the living piss out of him for 2 rounds and wins. No, I really don't. I think this will be a competitive fight, but it'll be competitive up into a point. I think Usman does win this fight. I won't say dominant, but I'll say handedly. I think he wins on the judge's scorecard. If it does go to decision, I see Kamaru winning 4 out of 5 rounds. If it were to.
Okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
So just he's outpoint him, be more technical. And, you can't make an argument that he's not. I mean, look at the way he's evolved with Trevor Whitman. Ever since he's gone to Trevor Whitman, man, this has been a new Usman.
Yeah, it's been literally the best thing for his career.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like you said, the jab, unbelievable. Unbelievable. And he's got so much power even behind that jab. Like that jab is stiff. Probably one of the best jabs in the UFC, other than maybe a Rob Font. You can make arguments that maybe Usman's jab is better. It's fantastic. I mean, he knocked out Gilbert Burns with it. So I can't wait for this fight. I agree with you. I think it's going to be more competitive than people think. I think a lot of people are not giving Colby even a slightest bit of a chance. And I think a lot of people are thinking they're going to bet the house on Usman. Would I be shocked if Colby somehow got the victory? No. I think it's going to be competitive. But I am also agreeing with you. I'm leaning Usman. I think he's going to be 3rd round finish, probably TKO. What I want to see some wrestling. I want to see, can Colby Covington push Usman up against the fence, pin him up? Can he grind him into the fence like he did RDA? Can he do that? Because that might be his best route to victory. But Usman's defensive wrestling is fucking fantastic. Some of the best in division. His wrestling is some of the best in division. Who is the best wrestler in the world? And I think that's what I want to find out with this fight. That's what everyone thought was going to happen in the first fight. Didn't happen. They stood and banged the entire time. Yeah. Everyone was expecting a wrestling match. I kind of hope that this is the wrestling match we get. Will it be entertaining if that's what we get? Probably not. It's probably not what people are going to want to see.
No.
But
especially if they watch the first. You know what? I hate to do this, but I love it because we're fans of the sport, so we got to talk about it, okay? And again, you guys know Leon Edwards is my boy. I really want him to get the next shot, but we got to talk about it, okay? Because you guys are all saying there's a chance, and I do believe.
So you're saying there's a chance?
So you're saying there's a chance, and I do believe. Like, in all seriousness, again, Colby Covington is the second best welterweight in the world right now. I really do believe that. I think he's a great fighter, and he does have a chance. Again, I think Kamaru Usman wins that fight. But let's say in this alternate universe, Colby Covington wins this fight Saturday. It's an instant classic, 4 or 5 rounds. Chaos ensues. Do you do the immediate rematch since Kamaru Usman has defended his belt so many times?
Yes.
You have to.
Immediately.
And I hate saying it. I hate saying
just
it.
Like,
because Leon's like, he's like, how many more fucking people do I have to beat? Because, you know, if he goes out there and beats Jorge Masvidal. Now, I'll ask you this. Would you finally, Tabor, be okay if Leon Edwards went out there and beat Jorge Masvidal and then they decided to do the trilogy? If Usman were to lose that fight, would you be okay if Leon Edwards like, okay, look, I've won 10 in a row. I'm just going to wait for this trilogy to set forth and then I get the next shot. Would you be okay with that?
Yes, but is Dana okay with that? I don't fucking know. It's like,
I know. It's just like,
is the UFC okay with that? They're like, Leon beat Jorge Masvidal, who just came off a title shot loss. Not good enough. Not good enough. Oh, you see Hamza Chimaev over there? That's my guy. Why don't you fight him again? Leon's like, you motherfuckers.
Dude, but we'll see. We'll see this Saturday. But if that does happen, we will definitely have to talk about that nonstop on a recap next week. But nonetheless, very much looking forward to this fight. I really think it's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, can't wait.
Great main event.
Can't wait. Fantastic main event. I'm going to make my pick right now. You have 3,000. Did you make your church coin pick?
Yes, I did.
So
I'm putting 3,000 on Kamaru Usman for the win here. At a minus 300, that'll give me a return of 1,000 church coin. I know. I already know what you want to do, Tabor. You want to put money on Colby, so just put money on Colby. Just make it interesting. You got an 18,000 fucking church coin. You got a few to blow.
8,000 church coin on Colby Covington. Fuck
Whoa,
it. Why
are
not?
You shitting me?
At a plus 240. I reserve my right to change my pick before the fight companion.
But if you hit that, dude, if you hit that, it's a wrap for the year, bro. It's a wrap for the year.
Why not?
Wow.
Why not? I've seen crazier shit happen. Why not? Fuck it. I'll change my pick probably right during the fight. I'm leaning Usman. I think Usman's going to win the fight.
Incredible.
I don't know. Fuck it. Let's make it fun. Why
All
in on Colby. No, I'm just joking. All right, let's move on to the co-main event. There's a UFC strawweight championship of the world. This is my fight of the night. Rose Namajunas coming in at a plus 100 to a minus 120. Zhang Weili, the rematch of the century. This is the rematch we kind of all wanted to see. We didn't know if it was really 100% deserved by Zhang because she got finished in the first round via vicious sneaky head kick. She was very angry by that finish, by the way. She did not like that the judges stepped in.
No, she did not.
Very concussed and very disappointed in that decision there. But
it is what it is.
Take another shot there. But will this fight be more competitive this time? Look at the line. Are you shocked that Zhang Weili is the favorite?
Okay, so that is what shocks me the most here. Weili Zhang coming in at a minus 120. Rose Namajunas coming in as the dog, if you want to call it kind of even money dog, plus 100. I am very shocked at this line here, especially after a quick first round head kick knockout by Rose Namajunas, was the former champ, won the strawweight belt once again against Weili Zhang. It absolutely blew my mind. However, I think this fight, Tabor, will be much more competitive. I think, obviously, I want to take nothing away from Rose. Her striking's phenomenal. The head kick was perfectly timed. It was sneaky as fuck.
The footwork just completely dancing around and mesmerizing Zhang.
Yes, and that's, you got to appreciate it. You got to love it. but it's really hard to duplicate a first round knockout. So when you sit here and you ask me, will this fight be more competitive? Will it go longer? My bet is absolutely yes. I think this fight is going to go 3, 4, it might even go all 5 rounds. These girls are highly competitive. They're at the top of their game. They're the elite level strikers in the strawweight division. I absolutely love this matchup, and I'm glad we get an immediate rematch. This is one of those rare circumstances after a first round finish that you're like, yeah, we're going to do an immediate rematch. But I think so many people are intrigued by this fight. You know, you had the Joanna Weili Zhang 5-round war, and that's kind of what we expected when Rose came into the picture here to fight for the strawweight belt. And I think that's what we're going to get this time around, Tabor. I definitely don't think it's going to be another first-round head kick KO or a first-round KO. I think it's going to be highly competitive, highly contested, and I do believe this fight goes decision. And I don't. This is a flip of a coin for me, man. I don't know. And last time I said that, and then Rose got first round head kick. But it is absolutely incredible fight and rematch. Cannot wait for it. Who do you got, Tabor? I already know who you got, but why don't you go first?
Well, I'm just going to repeat everything you just said. I absolutely agree 100% with every single point you just made. This will be a more competitive fight. Go back to my takes before this first fight happened. I was saying this was fight of the year. I was saying this was Zhang Weili Rose. This was Zhang Weili Joanna Jędrzejczyk 2, essentially.
Yeah.
This will be fight of the year. This will be a 5-round, highly contested war. The footwork of Rose Namajunas is impeccable, fantastic. The head kicks, everything flows so well. The jiu-jitsu.
Oh, yeah.
She's dangerous everywhere. Everywhere the fight goes, Rose has a legitimate chance of finishing anywhere. Would I be shocked if Rose finishes it again in the first round via head kick, knockout punch, whatever? No. I would not. She is that much more technical, accurate, better on the feet. But you can never, ever count out Zhang's toughness. You can never, ever count out Zhang's power because it does translate all 5 rounds. Look at the Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight. And her chin. Look at the Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight. She was willing to eat multiple shots to get inside to land the big power shot. Can Rose's chin hold up over 5 rounds? I think so. I'm taking Rose in this fight. I think she's the better fighter. I think she's the best 115-pound fighter in the world. I am her number 1 fan.
No, I know you are. You do love Rose.
I love
some Thug Rose.
So much respect.
You wear
for
your
her.
Thug Rose shirt on this podcast all the time. We all know you love her.
I love her. She's without a doubt my favorite.
How much church coin you putting on this, Tabor?
5,000 church coin on Rose Namajunas.
Wow, powerful.
I can't not pick her. She's got the better footwork. She's going to mesmerize Zhang on the feet. She's going to completely outclass her, I think. Zhang is, this guy just said it. Roy Oda, Cejudo wrestling incoming. Zhang has been training with Cejudo for the last 6 months in America. Zhang, I think, is going to try and out-wrestle Rose Namajunas, and I think that is her worst path to victory. Rose's jiu-jitsu might be some of the best in the entire division, other than maybe a Mackenzie Dern, but I still think if you put Rose in a jiu-jitsu match against Dern, she probably submits Dern.
Well, and again, that's why Rose is the champion at strawweight. She's good everywhere. She's a phenomenal striker.
Some of the best jiu-jitsu you can see.
She works with Trevor Whitman, and who else works with Trevor Whitman?
Kamaru Usman.
That's
Justin
right.
Gaethje.
Usman. Gaethje. You mean the best strikers in each one of their divisions?
She's the best striker at 115 pounds. Joanna Jędrzejczyk went 5 straight rounds in a competitive fight with Valentina Shevchenko. Rose Namajunas outclassed Joanna Jędrzejczyk not once, but twice. I just think there's levels of this, and I think Rose is the best. She's the best 115-pound fighter in the world, and I think we're just going to get it proved. Zhang is going to try to out-wrestle Rose, and I think that's going to be her worst idea yet because Rose could get the submission. I wouldn't be shocked if this is a finish. I agree with you. I think there's going to be a very competitive fight, especially on the feet. That's where Zhang's bread and butter is. It's on the feet. It's with the power. She needs to keep it there. She can knock Rose out, but I am taking Rose Namajunas. I'm saying 3-2 unanimous decision.
All right, yeah, and again, I say flip of the coin on this. I think Weili Zhang is a great striker as well.
This is going to be a fantastic fight.
It's going to be an awesome
fight of the year contender,
and I'm looking forward to it. But I'm going to go on the other side of this just for fun because that's what we do here. And at even money, why not, right? You picked Rose. I'm going to go with Zhang Weili. I was wrong on her last time, but I definitely think she's got the skills and capability to make this fight competitive and potentially win the fight here. So I'm going to put 1,000 church coin on Zhang Weili for the win.
All right. And another banger. Justin Gaethje coming in at -190 against Michael Chandler at a +160.
Jeez.
Oh my goodness.
Bro.
Oh my goodness. Dude, I'd pay $60 just for those 3 fights. That's it. I don't need any prelims. I don't need no early prelims. I would pay I'd pay $100 just for those 3 fights.
I know that Trevor Whitman's got his hands full.
This is the
this
Trevor
Saturday.
Whitman card.
Yeah, it is really the Trevor Whitman card.
You're
got his hands full.
Yeah, I mean, other than the Colby fight, I should have went with the Trevor Whitman sweep. That's what I'm kind of feeling.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm kind of feeling. Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler. Can we think of a more violent matchup?
No, this is literally the matchup I think everyone wanted. When Michael Chandler was announced, right, that he was making the transition over to the UFC, a lot of people were throwing Justin Gaethje's name in a hat right away. They were like, yep, this is the guy. We want Michael Chandler to fight. For whatever reason, that didn't happen right away. I know at the time, I believe Gaethje was in the midst of fighting Khabib Nurmagomedov, so that probably had something to do with it. But this has always been a fight I wanted to see in this lightweight division, and we're finally going to get it. Both these guys are violent. Both of them throw. They have so much power in each and every shot, and I really believe this has future fight of the year candidate. I really believe that, and especially in most circumstances, Tabor, I'd be very upset when a fight's only 3 rounds. But I think having this fight
this
rounds
needs to be 3 rounds.
is exactly the recipe for a fight of a year candidate here. And that's why I love this at 3 rounds so much, because as soon as that bell rings, they're looking for blood. They're smelling the blood, man. And I'm telling you, they want to go to war. And I think that's exactly what they'll do. I do actually think, though, at the same time, that it's not necessarily just going to be stand and bang. I think they're going to utilize everything in this fight. I think Chandler will actually, believe it or not, I think Chandler will actually shoot takedowns. I think he'll try to take Gaethje down, especially if he's getting outclassed on the feet, I think for sure. But again, this is one of those things. So Justin Gaethje's coming in at a -190, Michael Chandler at a +160, and this is one of those fights, too, where I just keep going back and forth on. But I got to go here with Justin Gaethje. I think he's the tougher, more well-rounded fighter. I'm going to go Justin Gaethje, 1,900 church coin for the win here. I just like Gaethje in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you just said. And shout out to Roy Oda. He also said the same. Chandler, I think, has got this. It ain't going to be easy, but I think Chandler is going to result to wrestling after he's losing in the striking. And Cosmo Reaver, shout out. I don't know. Gaethje has good takedown defense. Most people not named Khabib. Yeah, It is what it is there.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Take another shot. So, I mean, I don't even know, dude. I don't even know where to start. I'm so excited about this fight. I can't even put fucking words to I can't. I don't even know what to say. I just can't wait. I don't know who's winning this fight. I don't know. This should be fucking even money in my opinion. I don't know. I just can't wait. Please just be Saturday already, I guess. That's my take.
I know. It's so funny.
I don't know.
Because we just had a great fight card. Now I just want to have another.
I just want another
one. I just can't wait for next weekend.
Just give it to me.
I know.
Yeah, I can't
We're getting
wait.
spoiled this year.
I can't wait. I'm leaning Gaethje. I agree with you. I think he's going to be better on the feet. I think he will be sneakily just, picking and choosing his shots. I mean, calculated Gaethje is one of the most dangerous men we've ever seen in the UFC, period,
Absolutely. Regardless
of weight class. Calculated Gaethje, the second he started really dialing that in with Trevor Whitman, I mean, he's first round knockout streak. Other than the Khabib, that's it. He was in flatlining everybody, and he definitely has the power. He can knock Michael Chandler out in the first round. Chandler's got a great chin though, and Chandler's got so much power. He could knock out Justin Gaethje. Yeah. I don't know who wins this fight. It is so razor thin close to me. I think Gaethje's going to be a little slicker, but Chandler's got the wrestling takedowns. He's got fantastic jiu-jitsu as well. So if they get in crazy wild scrambles, I know Gaethje's got freaky crazy wrestling defense. But if they get into a scramble situation, Michael Chandler takes his back. It could be a wrap. Chandler has got some of the best jiu-jitsu in the entire division. Obviously, Oliveira is better. I mean, but look, Oliveira took his back. And he got out.
Yeah, and Oliveira is one of more of those shock submission artists, right? Where it's they're just working around. It's a craze. There's scrambles, and then boom, he pulls a submission in 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. He'll get a triangle or something. You're like, what the fuck? That's wild. But Michael Chandler's style is a little different, where he'll top pressure you, man. He'll hold you down. He'll make you wish to God that you weren't in this compromised position.
And here's something that we really have to think about. Michael Chandler, Kamaru Usman obviously isn't in the gym anymore, but Michael Chandler used to train with Kamaru Usman every day, and he would take Kamaru Usman down in training.
Right.
And he would strangle Kamaru Usman in training. Like the scrambles, the transitions that him and Kamaru Usman used to have on camera, some of the best jiu-jitsu you'll ever see.
Right.
Freaky. So if this goes down to the ground, I'm leaning Chandler. There, but stays on the feet. Like it's such an interesting matchup. Anything can happen in this crazy sport. I'm leaning Justin Gaethje. I think he's just calculated. Gaethje's just too dangerous. He has too much power. He's too accurate. I think he gets the knockout. I think it's second round knockout. Justin Gaethje. I'm putting 1,000 church coin on Gaethje. Nice.
All right. Yeah.
All right, Shane Burgos, Billy Quarantillo. Shane Burgos coming into -200 to a +170. Billy Quarantillo. Shane Burgos is getting I'm not going to call this a tune-up fight. It's a little bit disrespectful to Billy Quarantillo because he is no fucking slouch. He is very, very good, and he's sneaky. He's not a guy that's going out there and like, oh, this guy's going to knock a dude out in the first round, but then he does it. And he's very good on the ground as well. Crazy scrambling transitions. But this is a fight that's built for Shane Burgos. He really needs to get back up on his 2 feet. He's been struggling as of late. And that Edson Barboza knockout was a very scary situation there.
Super scary. It was like a delayed knockout.
Yeah.
And he has fought top contenders in this featherweight division. Obviously, he also lost to Josh Emmett, which was also a war. That was a war of a fight. And then, going out there against Edson Barboza in that weird, like, delayed knockout was super scary. But Billy Quarantillo deserves this fight. He deserves to be taken serious. He is a good featherweight fighter here. But for me, man, I just think this is Burgos' fight to win. And I think he will win. I think he'll win pretty decisively. No disrespect to Quarantillo here. But I like Burgos here. I have 1,000 church coin on Burgos for the win.
All right. Let's, real quick, Burgos. I like Burgos in this fight. I think he's going to be more violent. He's definitely not going to want to take this down to the ground. It goes down to the ground. Billy Quarantillo is probably getting the submission. But if it stays on the feet, Shane Burgos could get the knockout. Submission, I mean, kind of a grappler versus a striker matchup here. But Billy Quarantillo is no slouch on the feet either. So asterisk this fight, guys. This is a very, very competitive fight. Very high-level fight as well. It's got violence written all over it. Both of these men are very entertaining fighters. Make sure you watch this one. I'm going Shane Burgos. I'm going to put 2,000 church coin on him. I'm going to probably go unanimous decision. I don't think he finishes Billy. Billy's super tough.
Billy's tough as shit.
Billy's super fucking tough, but he's got the better boxing. So Shane Burgos, 1,000 church coin. Let's move on to the opening fight of the main card. Frankie Edgar coming in at +140 to a -165. Marlon Chito Vera. I love this fight. I'm not going to lie. I love this fight, but Frankie Edgar, I think he's on his way out. I don't see him getting victory here. I think he's going to get pieced up by Marlon Vera. I love Marlon Vera's striking. I love it. Can Frankie Edgar get Marlon Vera down to the ground? Yes, he absolutely can. But can Marlon Vera get back up to his feet? I would love to see if he can. He's got fantastic jiu-jitsu. He's great off his back, but he's an even better striker. He's got scary leg kicks. Just go ask Sugar Sean O'Malley. Oh, wait, he didn't lose that fight. Never mind. Don't ask him. He's just great, dude. He's great everywhere. The calf kicks, everything. I mean, it all flows so well. I love Chito Vera. I think this is a great fight for him to get back into the top 15 and to get more bigger and better matchups to really elevate his career. Because I do see Marlon Vera being a top 10 bantamweight in this division. So I'm going Marlon Vera. I'm going to put 1,650 church coin on him. That should be a return of 1,000 if he gets that victory.
Yeah, I'm actually leaning towards Frankie Edgar here. Obviously, the career that he's had, definitely future Hall of Famer in my opinion. And I really like a +140 as a dog. And yes, let's keep in mind, he was absolutely flatlined by that flying knee from Corey Sandhagen. That was very scary, and I did not like to see that at all. And I do wonder how he recovered from that. But, let's keep in mind, this is still Frankie Edgar. Like, he went out there and beat Pedro Munoz and looked really good in the fight before that. Looked great, might I add. Marlon Vera, also, Chito Vera has also beaten really good guys in this division as well. However, I got to go with the dog here. I got to go with the vet. It seems like when I go with the vets, they win. The one vet I didn't go for was Glover, and look how that ended. So I got to go with the vet here. I'm going with Frankie Edgar. Give me 1,100 church coin on Edgar for the win.
All right. Another one, Mason.
We
never put that sound on the board.
I know.
Remember how I used to end every podcast like that? Every single, another one, and then we just start the music. It's so funny. Yeah, but guys, everyone that showed up, thank you so much, guys. We appreciate each and every single one of you in the chat. Quick shout-outs to Roy Aida, Cosmo Reverb, Mikaeli, Imad, who else was in here? I remember
Cosmic.
Kevin Weeks, Cosmo. I didn't see Ignorant MMA, but you know what? Cosmic sending in the super chat. Like, you guys, you guys don't understand how much we appreciate this. Like, words do not amount the amount of love and appreciation we feel from this. We absolutely appreciate every single one of you guys. So thank you so much.
It's so cool too, because like every single episode we do, every fight companion, you guys are in the chats. You're giving us your opinions, and that's what this community is all about. That's what the congregation of the Church of MMA is supposed to be. I mean, we're just two fans of the sport who literally just meet up every single week and go through an episode and go through each card in each and every matchup. And so it's great to see other fans join that experience with us on this podcast. So shout out to every single person who watches. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, the only thing I have to ask, guys, is if you could please smash that like button. Smash the subscribe button if you aren't subscribed as well. And if you are already subscribed, steal your mom's phone, steal your dad's phone, steal your girlfriend's phone, subscribe to the podcast, share our videos, whether it's a clip of the show, a full numbered episode, a fight companion, anything. Share them on your social media accounts, guys. You don't understand how much that helps. And if you could do that, you could do one more little thing. And after this live stream, you go leave a comment and you write #for the algorithm, because you don't understand how much those comments help push us up in that algorithm, guys. If everyone that watched this video and everyone that was in the chat shares this or gets one subscriber, guys, we could get to 1,500 subs by the end of the year. I know it's possible. I know it is possible. We are asking you for your help. Get us there, guys. I know it's possible, especially with this community we made. Thank you so much for everything you guys do. So, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at the Church of MMA. Guys, if you aren't following us already, make sure you go and do it. We're posting clips of the show, funny memes trying to make you guys laugh. Hit us up.
Yeah, go check out our merch store, Teespring, the Church of MMA. Get yourself the man, the myth, the legend sweatshirt. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. This is the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Mason Knight. That is Tabor Cragen. And until next time,
peace.